Lanisha Franklin says for weeks now her daughter has been afraid to return here to Kingdom Christian Academy Daycare in Leavenworth. 2 months ago, a KCATA bus driver on the go in Kansas City when all of a sudden her routine ride took a frightening turn. I'm Robert Townsend. Only on 4, I'll tell you about the connection between this motel and one of the suspects now charged with shooting a local police officer. Lauren and John, a pretty wild crash. Right now, we're still waiting to talk to police about exactly what happened. But take a look back here and you can see in these pictures, investigators still here at this scene. They're telling us one man now in custody. Lauren, the deadly crash affected multiple families that are still preparing funerals, families whose loved ones are still in the hospital tonight. Now, the aunt of the suspect in this case is now sending condolences to those hurting families. Memorial Day is more than a week away, and many weary drivers, let me tell you, they're wondering just how high will gas prices go. You should be able to hear the tornado sirens going off. Inmate Sean Schneider tells me another inmate scalded him with hot water inside this jail. And get this, wait until you hear the other unbelievable twist in Schneider's case. On March 28th, inmate Sean Schneider says he was sitting in a recreation area at the Jackson County Jail.
It was right before dinner.
When out of the blue,
I was getting ready to play a game of chess, and he just comes and burns me for no reason.
The 43-year-old Schneider says another inmate sneaked up behind him and poured a pot of scalding water down his back. Schneider says the water was in a pot similar to the one pictured here.
All down the back of my neck here. I mean, it was severe.
Schneider says he suffered second-degree burns and was in the hospital for several weeks. He also showed us his medical records from Research Medical Center. Now he's talking to a lawyer and plans to file a lawsuit against the Jackson County Jail.
I mean, they don't maintain that place. They don't clean the trays that your food comes on. It's hell. Hell.
Schneider is charged with rape, burglary, and violating a protection order. He's accused of breaking into the home of a woman whom he says he was dating and sexually assaulting her. You're telling me you're not guilty?
Yes, I'm not guilty.
Of any of those charges?
Any of them.
The trial ended in a hung jury last Friday, but the state had plans to retry the case. Still, he was released Tuesday, but was stunned to learn from his lawyer that the jail mistakenly let him out.
They said it was dismissed.
Who said that?
That's what the jail told me when they released me. That's my release paper from the jail.
That's right. This accused rapist was free on the streets for more than 24 hours. Schneider's brother sent us this cell phone video after Schneider decided to go back to jail as requested. After Fox 4 alerted the county Schneider was mistakenly released, Diana Turner, the Department of Corrections director, sent us a statement that says in part, quote, "We are grateful for the quick response and cooperation by our staff, law enforcement, and the prosecutor who helped identify the issue and successfully return the defendant to custody." Turner also said, "We are working diligently to determine the chain of events that led up to the situation and will take the steps necessary based upon that information." Who made the mistake here?
We'll have to find out. I'm not a threat to anyone. I follow all rules and regulations. I'm not a felon. I'm here to clear my name.
Hey there, Dome and John. Let me tell you, you can see we are on the roof of Chucks and Trucks. Now look at this. Check out all these pretty cool cars. Trucks, motorcycles, many of these owners were friends of Russell James Fisk. And right now you can see they're taking off, look at that, for a pretty cool memorial ride to remember Russ. Beautiful exotic Beamers, Benzes, and classic Buicks, all drawing a huge crowd tonight in the Northland. It's a special car show of sorts for one special car enthusiast.
It's our way to honor and give back for everything he's given us.
The man of the hour, Russell James Fisk, a 30-year-old successful tattoo artist known the world over for designing spectacular tattoos and driving some pretty cool cars.
He did some of my tattoos here.
2 years ago, Brian Huff and Russell James became the best of buddies, both proud members of the Kansas City Exotics and Supercar Group.
90% of that talk and time that we did our tattoo session was all about the sports car and what his next dream and goal car was and how he was going to get there. So
he literally just would love a car and then he would drive it and trade it and trade it and trade it.
Sadly, Russell James not here tonight because a week ago, police say he was shot and killed in his custom-made BMW. This big event, a chance for hundreds of the car lovers' friends and former clients to raise money for Russ's black card tattoo business.
They want the shop to continue, and that's part of what the fundraiser is the business that he built, is to make sure that they have the funds so that the rest of his team can actually go through their grieving process.
And also, the owners of the cool Chryslers, Camaros, and Cobras will cruise through the Northland streets as their way to remember their beloved friend.
We all just loved him so much. I mean, he was a really easy man to love. I mean, he didn't know a stranger.
I think he'd be thrilled looking down smiling. You know, this was his passion here, and it shows the support here. And, you know, he made a lot of friendships in a short period of time here in the Kansas and Missouri area. You know, this was his passion.
Back here live, Russell James touched many of these car enthusiasts in so many ways, and that's why their last ride for Russell will end at Russell's shop in the Zona Rosa area. Live in the Northland, I'm Robert Townsend, Fox 4 News. Chuck Staten says he's convinced the man he paid to redo his driveway instead ripped him off and left behind a sloppy mess.
Yeah, I am a little mad about it, because there's no sense taking advantage of somebody like that.
Chuck Staten is peeved because he says on May 24th he was excited to finally get a much-needed makeover to his driveway in Independence. But nearly 3 weeks later,
I know he ripped me off.
Staten says James Wilson's amazing paving and foundation repair, which according to Wilson's business card has proudly served Missouri since 2002, promises free estimates, senior discounts.
He didn't even mention nothing about no senior discount. I mean, that's wrong.
Duped him out of hundreds of dollars
And you can see
and left his driveway
the black tar right here.
and more
A little spot here where the tar came off.
in a big mess.
Got the tar, and he got it all over there. And these young guys comes out here and takes advantage of people.
Staten says James Wilson first drove down his street and offered to blacktop his driveway.
Well, the guy stopped here and asked me to do it for $280, and I said no. Then he came down to $180 to do my driveway.
Staten says he paid Wilson the $180 to do the work.
Yes, this is the receipt. It's got a 3-year warranty on it.
Later that night, the 73-year-old retired sheet metal worker says what was supposed to be a simple job
And he patched these holes up right over here.
turned into a nightmare because Staten says the so-called waterproof tar Wilson used to blacktop his driveway washed away during a heavy storm, splashed onto his railings and his garage doors. Staten estimates cleaning up Wilson's mess will cost him at least $400.
It's going to take the paint off of my doors. Well, my doors ain't what's called cheap, so I called him back, and he says, I ain't coming back.
Text Now subscriber you were trying to reach is not available.
And today, both Staten
Yeah, give me a call back about my driveway, please. Thank you.
and I called James Wilson. And this is Robert Townsend with Fox 4 News again. But he never called us back.
I want him to come out there and clean everything up, which I doubt if he does because he's a con man.
Now, the Better Business Bureau wants to remind consumers to always thoroughly check out a home repair company. That's before you pay the money. And also remember, if you think you've been scammed, call and report the business to the BBB. Chuck Staten definitely now plans to file a complaint against James Wilson. I'm Fox 4 problem solver Robert Townsend. On this sweltering summer-like night, some super cool volunteers and the Salvation Army are on the go, helping the homeless survive the heat. It all started with a simple honk of the horn.
I believe it started in the 80s, actually.
And then coordinator Steve Leiker and 4 volunteers
These are folks that are living under bridges and in tents.
descended on the bridges, tents, and parks
Give me some lady supplies over there.
to pass out protein bars, much-needed meals, and lots of cold bottled water to these homeless men, women, and veterans who have to live outside in the sizzling heat.
It's so easy to get dehydrated out here, so we definitely want to bring extra water and Gatorade.
Thank you so much, guys.
They are the Salvation Army's Honk and Holler team, and for the last 34 years, this special team's mission, keeping Kansas City's homeless cool on those hot days and nights when the temperature soars.
It's just really terrible and miserable outside, and can you imagine not being able to go somewhere and get out of this temperature and get into some shade? And so it's just an honor to be able to go and serve these people.
In addition to making sure the homeless are fed, hydrated, and comfortable in the heat,
What's your name, hon?
the Honk and Holler team also tries to help these people enroll in programs that can help them turn their lives around and get off the streets.
It's hard, yeah, it's real rough.
Jonathan is thankful for this kind-hearted team.
They're keeping us alive, and it's pretty cool.
Robert Townsend,
Lifesavers, yeah.
It's actually very rewarding.
Fox 4 News.